Welcome to Moon Vibes, your daily source of crypto news, delivered with just the right amount of chill. Moon Vibes only. Now here's your host, Crypto Kyle.
Hey, good morning and welcome back to the show. It is Friday morning. Glad to have you back. Do apologize. Last night there was no yacht club, guys. I needed to get some sleep. Hoping to feel a little bit better for my Monday, my work Monday, which is today. But hope you guys are all doing well and enjoyed the night off. We'll be back next Tuesday for NF Tuesdays with fun days. So excited about that. In the news this morning, CryptoSlate.com reporting that McDonald's virtual restaurants are coming soon to the Metaverse. On Wednesday, trademark attorney Josh Gerben tweeted that McDonald's has filed 10 trademark applications in relation to the Metaverse. Gerben said the filings indicate the fast food giant has plans to bring a virtual restaurant offering both actual and virtual goods. Virtual goods in the Metaverse are an established trend, for example, in gaming items or clothing for avatars, but virtual food is unheard of till now. Corporations are jumping headfirst into the Metaverse. Much like NFTs, the Metaverse is a highly divisive topic. While some call it a natural evolution of the internet, others envision it as a dystopian nightmare. Whatever your position on the matter, though, Silicon Valley, flanked by big corporations, is pushing ahead with their centralized versions, regardless of public resistance. Zuckerberg said the Metaverse could bring access to jobs and more places, giving insight into his plans for the concept. Interesting. Especially considering the interview I have for you this morning. All right, newsbtc.com reporting that the new Cardano Milestone might be the push it needs to scale $1.50. Cardano has been struggling on the charts since its decline that began last year. It has since taken the digital asset below $1, although a recent recovery trend has rectified that. Nevertheless, Cardano is yet to regain at least 50% of its all-time value. With low momentum rocking the cryptocurrency, it has been an uphill battle, getting the asset back to $1.20. But Cardano has passed 30 million transactions. As the adoption on the blockchain has grown, the transaction count has gone up significantly. The total transaction count for the network has now surpassed 30 million. For Cardano, this is an important milestone in the competition between the various smart contracts platform. All right, and last but not least, first Japanese anime NFT Otaku Club to launch on the Metaverse. Otaku Club NFT, the world's first ever Japanese anime NFT project featuring a crypto game and mangaverse intended for otaku and all NFT collectors, is launching in the second quarter of 2022. According to its official site, a pre-sale will take place 24 hours before the general sale. Members of the community will have access to 250 spots in whitelist. The Otaku Megaverse is a unique virtual experience. Users may play to make money, hang out with friends, visit places, purchase products and services, and attend events as VIPs. In this metaverse, your Otaku NFT serves as your avatar. The company announced that 2,000 NFTs are set for minting with a maximum of 5 NFT by a VIP member during the pre-sale, and that there are 5,777 NFTs available for public sale. With a maximum of 10 NFTs per transaction, each NFT costs 0.15 ETH during the pre-sale and 0.16 ETH during the general sale. There you have it. Let's go ahead and jump into the market. Bitcoin up 15.71% for the week at $43,252. Ethereum up 14% at $3,066. BNB up 11.58% on the week at $414. XRP up 35% on the week at 82 cents. Cardano at $1.14, up 8.54% on the week. Solana at $104, up 1.76% on the week. Avalanche up 31.49% on the week at $89.41. Terra Luna up 3.45% at $52.26. Dogecoin up 10.12% at 15 cents. Polkadot at $20, up 7.93%. Shiba Inu up 47.87% at 0.403051. Polygon Matic up 18.08% at $1.84. And CRO coin from crypto.com is at 50 cents, up 24.18% on the week. So very green numbers in the market over the last few days. The sentiment has lifted a little bit. People are starting to get excited, maybe rest a little easier. But guys, this might not be the end. Don't get too bummed out if things go south. I do think that, this week is really going to let us know, maybe leading into the next week, where this market is going to go. If it's going to turn now to a bullish ride, or if it's going to wait another 6 to 8 weeks. So I'm leaning towards mid-March, but that's just my opinion. I definitely might not be right. So let's go ahead and I'll introduce the guest. If you guys were on the Yacht Club this last Tuesday, I had Chad and Brad, Family NFT. It is a very cool project. They're doing lots of cool things. They're an established cannabis business in California, and they are jumping into the metaverse and crypto via NFTs and later on a virtual store. But more to come on that. So stay tuned and listen to this interview, and I'll be back with you just after. All right, and welcome to our guest, Chad and Brad NFT. Again, guys, if you were around for the Yacht Club on Tuesday night, they were our special guest, but we have them here again for the podcast. Welcome. How are you feeling today?
Doing good, man. Doing great. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good to have you back. No, I didn't get a chance to ask you before, but was Tuesday your first time around hanging out for the whole Yacht Club, or had you popped in there before?
I think it's the first time I caught the entire session, the entire space. Kind of what I've been doing, and what luckily one of my admin, we call it the Chadman, in my Discord, introduced me to Twitter Spaces probably about 3 weeks ago, actually. And so I've just been trying to hop in as many as I can, get the word out on the project organically. I've been hopping in some cannabis-related spaces, NFT-related spaces. So I've been trying to get out there. There's a lot of them, and I try to keep up with all of them. And I think I'm starting to figure out everybody's scheduled times, so it makes it a little easier. So yeah, I'll definitely be catching you a lot more, man.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And yeah, there's definitely it's funny because at the beginning, only certain people had access to it. And so you had a lot of spaces for 300, 500, sometimes 1,000 or more people, just from somebody regularly holding spaces, people knowing where they could go. Yeah. Then they released it to everybody, which is great. But now you got 100 rooms of 3, 5, 10 people. And so people are kind of filtering through them right now to see like what's consistent again, because you're just stepping into regular spaces random spaces, and you have no idea what you're getting into.
No, I like hitting that kind of sweet spot of, if I see a space that's open and they've got like anywhere from 35 to 50 people, I love hopping in those because I know I can like hang out for a bit. I like to spend no more than 45 minutes in one space, just because it is like, that's my main way of marketing the project right now, is kind of, that's how we got to get the word out. It's really just me handling all of the kind of marketing, and you'll see me in the Discord. I've got, luckily, my Chadmans now that are in there helping me out. But yeah, as far as building that out and getting the word out, it's pretty much me, while my partners handled our real world business. Business can't stop just because we're doing this.
Now the listeners on this podcast hear me talk about it all the time, but isn't it insane, the whole world of Twitter that exists now compared to the just 160 character lock of a status message it was at the beginning?
Oh man, yeah. If you, I forget when I exactly made my account for my Twitter profile, but if you go on my Twitter, you can see I think when I originally made it, and I had just made it for me, and I maybe had 100 followers on there, and I was like, yeah, Twitter's really not for me. Twitter's kind of a lot of people used to call Twitter just kind of a cesspool, and that's kind of why I avoided it. I was on Instagram mostly. We have a very large following on Instagram throughout our accounts. Not very large, moderately large. I think we have like a little over 8,000 followers on Instagram now.
That's a lot.
And so we spent a lot of time on there. I ended up converting over my profile to our project profile, just I think in like the middle of January. And yeah, it's totally different, especially now that I'm in the NFT community side of it, because there's all different little, sub communities of Twitter that you can,
right,
depending on your hashtags and who you follow, you end up in that little sub community. And this one's really cool. I enjoy it.
Yeah, I do like how, it'll be like maybe 2 or 3 months. I'll see the same people, same spaces, and then I'll get one follow from somebody, or I'll follow some random person I see in a space. And then for like 2 weeks, I'll see all new spaces I've never seen before.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's just that one person unlocks, all that extra, depending on what they're plugged into.
Right. Yeah, it's crazy how the algorithm works and how it puts these spaces in front of you. Because, yeah, same thing. I used to, when I first started, I think it was Skirpy and NFTs for Freedom were like the two only spaces that would ever pop up in my feed. And then it was like when I first kind of just started chilling the first week or so. And so I would hop in those. And then my thing is when I get into those spaces, I kind of just go down the list, whether it's a creator, collector. I just go through the entire thing and I just follow everybody until Twitter basically tells me I can't. And usually I'll get a bunch of follows back. If they don't follow back, I'll try to go back and kind of unfollow so that I can keep my ratio balanced,
Right.
And so, yeah, that just opened up a whole new world of Twitter spaces. Now I scroll down my feed and there's probably maybe 40 of them that'll just pop up, and it's crazy.
That's awesome. Now let's talk about the business here. Now, the business, I know you guys have the chathub.com website. Is that the overarching thing for the physical business and the digital realm?
So ChatHub is essentially, so our company is Chad Enterprises LLC. And so that's kind of just our main corporate structure, our corporate website, I guess you could call it.
Okay.
That has kind of all of our sub projects, right? So through Chad Enterprises, we have 3 tiers of licensing. So we have retail delivery, which is our DBA, foundation delivery. And that's that handles all of just like our, I think where our network is just within like 45 minutes, we try to keep it. So that way we can make sure that we're not making people obviously wait too long. That was kind of our big thing and our claim to fame with our delivery was, if you've ever ordered cannabis from a legal place here in California, I'm not sure how it is in other states, but usually you get hit with like a 90-minute to 2-hour wait. So regardless of when you call, because that's just how they tier it so that they can get more orders in and see if they get anybody nearby within that time frame to be able to get the most bang for that trip, right?
Right.
So our big thing was when we first opened up and we were first starting out, we were able to hit 30 minutes or less, and that opened up a whole world of business. And now, just because the business has grown and obviously our customer base has grown, we've extended that to 60 minutes or less, and the customers understand that. If you're kind of like an original customer and you're coming and you're calling and you're placing an order and we have somebody close by and you might not be in the order, but you're kind of close, we'll squeeze you in just to keep that time frame down for you. Because it is kind of just like our whole vision was giving back to the cannabis community. right? Because we're not a huge corporation. We don't have 10 million, $20 million backing us, right? It's just me and 3 guys that saved up a couple $100,000 to get this going. So that's kind of been our big thing. Undercut the big guys. You know, if they do it in 2 hours, we'll do it in half the time. If they're charging $50 an eighth, we're charging 40, you know?
Right.
We just take the hit on the taxes. We don't charge any extra delivery fees. We have no delivery fee. So yeah, got kind of sidetracked on the whole retail side of things.
No, that's awesome. I think that's a good side. I think people, of course, would be interested too. Where's the product coming from?
So we source from major distributors. We have Jungle Boys on our menu. Like, we do work with large brands. King's Garden is one of the bigger ones. They're local to us. They've got a grow out here in Desert Hot Springs. We work closely with them so that we can get that, and their company that distributes them, which is Royal. And so shout out to Royal and Bobby and those guys if they listen. So yeah, those guys, we do have a wide variety of products on our menu. We have over 300 products, I believe, now that we carry. And so we have anything from major brands to our in-house brands. We also have brands that we produce, because we are, like I was saying, we are a 3-tiered licensed company. So we have manufacturing, distribution, and retail.
That's awesome. And you said you do everything from flour up to, you said you have tinctures as well?
We have a wax line as well, yeah. So we have our flower line, which we do all 3 tiers, from outdoor, greenhouse to indoor. And they're all priced basically like how it was back in the old days, right? So back in California, it was $10 a gram for the good stuff all the way up. So that's how we want to kind of keep it. So we charge awesome. We charge $35 an eighth, no tax, no delivery fees, for our in-house indoor, which still tests above 30%, so.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, we're just trying to, like I said, we've always been about, giving back. And since we're the smaller guy, we have less overhead, right? We know people in the community where every other cannabis company is paying $5 a square foot for their rent for their spaces that they're operating out of, just because landlords know in cannabis they can afford it. You can tax them. We're paying $1.25, just because we know the people in the community, they want to see us thrive, so they help us out and we all grow together.
Right. Well, that's awesome. So you have the main company. And what did you say the name of your locations were again? Your actual store, I mean?
Foundation Delivery.
Delivery.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you said that during the Yak the other day, and I forgot to write it down. I was like, I can't remember what he said that was.
Yeah, we're on Weed Maps. We're the top-rated delivery service by review on Weed Maps in the Coachella Valley. And we're also the closest cannabis option to Coachella Festival and Stagecoach.
Wow, that's wild. It's a prime space there.
Yeah, we're excited for those festivals to start up.
For sure. All right, well, let's talk a little bit about, we heard about the store and kind of the idea behind that, what you're trying to achieve. Now, how did that branch over into the crypto NFT realm? Like what guided, whichever one of you first kind of jumped into that realm, whether it was as an investor or as something you thought you could see as potential, advancement of your business?
Yeah, so we all have been involved in kind of crypto. We all got into Doge. We all made some money on Doge, so that was shout out to Doge. So without Doge, maybe the company couldn't have happened, So shout out to them. So we've kind of been familiar with it. NFTs. I took place in a couple of NFT drops, NFT mints, and I saw what went wrong with those projects. They were rugs. Some of them were just kind of, not to devalue or anything like that, but some of them were just like, a dude that was just making like digital drawings of like a frog or something like that, just throwing them up on OpenSea, and I didn't realize like, oh, maybe it's a big project, not a big project, whatever. So I just buy them because they look cool, you know, and they just go to zero or whatever, you know, they just had no value. So I kind of saw what I did wrong in the crypto space and learned from that as far as the NFT space goes. And I kind of, that helped blossom kind of to make the project better. But as far as the whole NFT idea itself, we were just kind of going around doing a money raise for our company, right? So we got to a point where we were cash flow positive, we're debt free. We were thinking, do we take on debt? Do we raise capital? What's the best option essentially for our company? What's going to be able to keep our vision going the way that we have it and not have to really sacrifice the sense of the community that we were trying to, you know, achieve in the first place. So we talked to a few public companies. We talked about what's called a consolidation, which is basically like one large corporation that comes in and they buy up a bunch of smaller, you know, little companies around that are profitable and doing well, and they just consolidate it all in under that brand, right? And so you still work for the company, but you essentially become an employee of that corporation. You're no longer, you don't really have the input that you originally had in the company, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Like you're kind of like at their will as far as like what your offerings are, or
right?
You branch out to.
Yeah, it's a 51% minimum acquisition deal, if not closer to 80 sometimes, you know? So you really have no more control in your company. So we didn't want to go that route. We've also talked to, you know, private investors. And that's kind of the same thing, is it's a lot of people, if they come into your company and they're giving more than $1 million to build out a grow isn't cheap. You know, if you want to add a grow to your building, you're looking at a $2 million spend if you want to do it right on like 5,000 square feet, you know? So not everybody has that money. Not everybody wants to give that money, especially. And if they do, they want to make sure they have a large stake in that company. And so it's the same thing. They're going to come in and they're going to have essentially control. And if you say, hey, we need to hire a couple more guys, or hey, we need to spend a little bit more money on better fertilizer, better, you know, everything, they're not about that. They're about cutting costs. They're about the margin. They're about maximizing their potential, right? Which everybody, don't get me wrong, in business, you should be. You shouldn't put yourself out of business just because you want to give back, right? You got to do it right. But that's where our play and our margins and the way that we operate and our SOPs that we have in place help us thrive, because we can take those risks and do what we do. So that's kind of where we were. Sorry, I get sidetracked again, but that's where it was actually on a golf course. Me and my buddy Jimmy, he's also an owner in the company. We were playing golf one day, and we were kind of talking about it, and we were kind of threw the idea around, and we were talking about crypto and NFTs that we were looking at buying, and some NFTs that were getting sold. And we were saying, you know what, why don't we figure out a way to just, you know, take a stock certificate and put it as an NFT, right? And we quickly found out that that's not possible. It's illegal. You can't really do that. Our original idea was to take an actual digital copy of a stock certificate and upload it as an NFT. And yeah, obviously cannot do that. So we had to kind of figure out another way, right? So we found out about security tokens. There is a cannabis security token. I think it's, I forget the name of it, but I think it's CECE something, whether it's CSEN or CSES, something like that. But they're a cannabis security token. And essentially what a security token is, if you don't know, it's, for those out there listening, it's a securitized asset that's been tokenized. So whether it's a stock in a company, whether it's a piece of real estate, something like that, it's been tokenized and it's been securitized so that it can be treated just like a stock. And it's regulated by the SEC. You do have to file a lot of paperwork. It is fairly expensive to go that route. Minimum, you're looking at probably 100,000 just to launch, with all of the legal things you need to do and just all of the back work, right? And that's not including the liquidity of the actual coin, right?
Right.
So we started looking into stuff like that and play to earn games. So we saw that there was a couple of ways that we could reward the people that have the NFT and still fall within the legal guidelines. So that's where we kind of came up with our roadmap, came up with our plan. We even modified it as we went, just to make sure that we kept our advertising within all SEC regulations. We want to make sure, because they are strict on the way you advertise and how you get the word out on securities and things like that. So we did modify our website a couple of times just to make sure that we fell within those guidelines, because we do want to have longevity in this project.
That's awesome. Yeah, man, I love what you guys are doing, especially, on the crypto side. And I like where, the direction of the roadmap has you going, in addition to, a play to earn game based off of a game that a lot of us like to play to begin with, right?
Right.
But then, of course, rewards that you could use. Chad Coin here. I know some listening now may not know what we're talking about, but yeah, I mean, being able to go into a virtual store at some point down the road is amazing in that of itself. Being able to use in-game earned, tokens or rewards for physical product is always nice. But right. This idea of being inside Sandbox has got me really excited.
Yeah, dude, it's pretty cool. We've actually already been looking at property. That was our debate, is do we acquire the property now, because you have kind of no idea how those assets are going to react to the market and what's going to happen. Obviously, we're shifting to a bull run in crypto, some are saying.
Right.
So you want to make sure that you kind of get ahead of that, right? So that you can maximize the money spent towards what you're doing. So we've been looking at properties in Sandbox, because that's the thing that I noticed is you see it in headlines, and it bothered me a little bit personally, if I'm being honest, because I saw in a couple headlines where you'd see company opens up world's first Metaverse dispensary, get cannabis delivered direct to your door. And I'm like, oh man, that's crazy. I want to see what that's all about. And I'd get in there and I'd check it out and I'd start reading, and I'm like, okay, CBD, CBN, CBG. I'm like, where's the THC? Where's the cannabis?
Right.
I don't want hemp delivered to my door. No offense to people that enjoy CBD. Obviously I'm in the THC side of it. I have a good friends that are in the CBD side of it. They produce a lot of CBD products, and they're awesome products. They're just personally not for me, and they're not what our company can do. We can't handle hemp. It's not regulated in our market like that. If you have a THC license, you're not allowed to process or sell any hemp product that hasn't gone through the metric track and trace program. So we couldn't do that anyway, but I also noticed that nobody had any THC products. So there was that gap. And that's where we could kind of fill that gap, because we do have our retail space. We know a lot of people here in California. We've been in the industry for a long time. So we know people with shops, both larger, smaller. We've had wholesale products that we put out and had put in other shops. So we're able to kind of use those contacts that we have with those dispensaries to be able to cover a larger space that our one shop here in Coachella Valley couldn't necessarily hit. And thought, what a great way for other companies to bring business to themselves that can't necessarily afford to go out and buy a spot in the Metaverse, and whichever one it is, whichever platform, and build out a location and make sure that it's manned with actual employees and basically operate, So it was a good opportunity for other dispensaries to kind of form just a collective. And how back in the day when cannabis first formed, if you wanted to have a dispensary, it had to be a collective. And it was just a collective of growers that were all signed up together, and they would all grow for this one collective shop. And that's how they would get their product, and that's how they would be able to get it out to the people. And so we figured bring it back to that original idea where we bring a collective of dispensaries for one location that all service everywhere. And what better way than the metaverse?
Absolutely. Yeah, so if I wanted to shop on your virtual dispensary, for at least for the near future, when this did launch, whenever that is, I know there's a lot of hypothetical questions here. I would need to live in your area.
So California to start.
Right.
We're looking at starting in California. We could already open that because we have talked to some dispensaries in Colorado. We've also talked to a couple people that have a dispensary up in upstate New York. And so we have already made connections with those people. It's just kind of working out the logistics of it, right? Getting a copy of their menus, seeing what they have on Weed Maps, and then building it out from there, right? So once we have all of those partnerships solidified, I'm hoping that when we do launch the metaverse, we'll have California, Colorado, Nevada, Arizona, Michigan, and New York.
That would be incredible.
That's the goal we're pushing for. We've already been talking to some people, and luckily have some connections with some people in some other states and multi-state operators. So that's the good part about when companies coming looking to acquire you, is you meet some big corporations and you get to know those people, and it helps.
There is a lot of shops in Michigan, period, obviously, but I know that there's quite a few in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. More than you would think there would be, anyways.
Oh yeah, Michigan's getting very big right now. They're kind of in the wild west phase as well. So it's pretty cool to see a lot of these states. They kind of, when they first start legalization and they get into the medical program, most of them model their framework and all of their ordinances and laws and bylaws and everything off of California, because we were one of the first kind of states to regulate it in that form, and it's kind of just taken off from there. So it's kind of cool to see they're in the early stages of, like, when back in California it was like 2009, 2010, and it was first getting going. So it's cool to see.
Yeah, absolutely.
Except they got cooler toys now.
Now, as far as some of your branding, I know we talked about that a little bit on the Yacht Club. Could you share with us, what maybe some of your products look like in description? And if you have any visuals I can share, I can always add those to the YouTube.
Yeah, I'll have to send you some pictures. We do have 3 tiers of flower that we currently have. Our outdoor, which is kind of our blunt weed, tests at around 22 or 23%, which is still pretty up there. It's above 20%, which is great. That we call Booth by Chad. It's kind of looks like it's white packaging, and it's got a red stripe across, kind of like the Supreme stripe, and it just says Booth. So that we do at $80 an ounce. And so it's kind of like your lower tier, under $100 ounce. It's still full nug. So we try to still give at least a decent quality for that price. And then our mid is our mids, mystery mids by Brad. And so the story behind this is that Brad and Chad messed up on some paperwork, and 5 different batches of strains of weed got mixed into one test. and so they don't really know what's in each jar, essentially. So all the jars have a different little color sticker on top, and if you can guess the strain of all 5 jars, then you'll win a free 1/8. That's kind of the promotion that goes along with that product.
Okay, that's cool.
And I think we're doing at 25 1/8. And then we have our top shelf, which is our indoor, and that's Legacy by Chad and Brad. And so we're going to have 3 essentially brands of our top shelf indoor, 3 different, just kind of different names. So we'll have Legacy, which is our hybrid, luxury, which is going to be indica, and lifestyle, which is our sativa. And so that's more of like the luxury is a soft feel blue packaging with like gold script writing. So that's more of just a higher end kind of packaging and look to it. And that's $35 an eighth, and that tests over 30% total cannabinoids. Wow. So it's still it's still very cheap. It's not, and that's tax included, no delivery fees. Like I said, we don't have any hidden fees. That's 35 is what you're paying, just like the old days.
That's awesome. Yeah, I like that. I guess between, what we talked about on the Yacht Club, and what we've talked about so far, anything else you want anybody to know about just the project overall, before we kind of talk about the NFT release?
No, man, if you haven't hopped in our Discord, you should definitely hop in there, because even if you're not looking to mint, we've got a really cool server built out, and we've got a really solid community of stoners in there, and everybody's really chill. We've got a mental health channel, so you can come in, talk to the community, kind of share things, just get things off your chest, and just talk through it with the members of the community and get high and help move each other past and lift each other up.
That's great. All right, so to wrap things up, could you go over for all these lovely people that did not attend the Yacht Club, anyways, since they didn't come and show up for you on Tuesday, did you let them know about the game that you guys have in the works? Since I know we talked about that briefly, but nobody really knows what we're talking about, and the mint that's coming up, and what to expect with that mint, and how that will kind of unfold, so people can prepare.
Yeah, so the game we're modeling off of Hempire. If you've ever played that game, you can essentially, the way that we're looking to get it built out is you start in your garage or in your closet growing just a plant or two. You've got to kind of build your way up to owning essentially a larger enterprise, right? So it'll be Chad's enterprise that you'll be playing, and you'll be able to earn coins. So the more money that you earn in game, the more Chad coin, the utility token, you'll actually be able to earn, and that'll just give you kind of an easy passive way to make money while you're just playing games.
That's great. And then as far as the I know we talked about it again on the Yacht Club, but we have the OG Chads list is full. We have the white list going right now. Aside from trying to get on the white list for the pre-sale, could you just talk about what to expect from the public launch and how people should best prepare to participate in the mint?
Yeah, so if you've been to our website, you'll see in the top right corner we do have the mint button on the menu. It's not active yet, but once we get closer to that, that will become active. We have all of our artwork compiled. It's all been generative art, and we've gone through it just to make sure that everything's set up properly, that everything's been compiled properly. So that's kind of what we've just been doing over the last few weeks, making sure on that end that that's good to go. And you'll be able to mint directly on the website. We don't currently have anything up on OpenSea. There are some fake projects, fake collections up there that have just taken kind of the sneak peeks and stuff that I've thrown up on Twitter and put it up in there and basically trying to scam people. I know one person in our Discord bought one. So do be careful of that. We have not minted yet. Our plan, we were originally going to mint on the 17th of February, but we ended up getting with the community at the beginning of the month and kind of talking it over and decided to delay it to the beginning of March. We haven't picked a specific date, but we will be announcing that date in a couple of weeks once we just kind of reassess where everybody's at and what our thoughts are within the community. The public mint will be at 0.07 ETH, and we were going to have a maximum of 10, but we also decided to change that just because a lot of people within the community kind of expressed that they wanted more. One guy even came out and said he wanted to try and buy 50 of them. So I was like, hey man, more power to you. He was on the OG list. So it's great to have people that have been there kind of from the beginning and seen us grow organically. But yeah, the mint will take place early March, 0.07 ETH on our website, and we'll announce the exact date here soon.
All right. Well, that sounds good. Well, I'm excited about this project. I had a couple people that did miss on Tuesday say they were looking forward to the podcast, and they wanted me to give them more information. I said, you got to wait till the podcast comes out, then we can talk. But very glad for you to stop by and for, taking time twice out of your week just to talk to us about your project and where it's headed. And today, of course, where it all stemmed from. Something that excites me with, the crypto space is that it's so new. And so we continue to see, new things come to fruition, new ideas, new ways to utilize utility behind, an NFT type thing. We've seen it with play to earn games. We see that here with a play to earn game, but now we see it with, a dispensary and weed delivery. So we're going to continue to see the space reinvent itself. We're going to continue to see in real life businesses reinvent themselves based off of how they interact with Web3 going forward. And you're just on the precipice of it. You're at the very beginning. So congrats to you guys for executing thus far. And we look forward to seeing where you guys go over this next, really 2022 and going forward beyond that.
Definitely, man. I appreciate that. And we definitely are looking forward to building up this community. And we stress to our community that it is going to be a long road. Our roadmap is a long roadmap where there's going to be a lot of stuff we need to get done along the way. And so we are looking for a strong community, long-term holders with the same vision in mind.
That's awesome. Well, I look forward to catching up with you in a few months and seeing where the progress is and what you guys have going over there at Chad and Brad.
Thank you, man. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Welcome anytime. Have a great rest of your day.
You too. Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, that does it for the interview portion of the podcast. I hope you had a great time, and I hope that you check out what they're doing over there at Chad and Brad Family NFT. You guys have a great rest of your day. If I don't see you in any spaces, as always, I will talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks for listening to Moon Vibes. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please share it with others. Post about it on social media. Visit our sponsor and affiliate links in the description or leave a rating and review. Be sure to follow your host on Twitter at CryptoKyleMQT. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.